I'm ready.
Good morning. Today is March 3rd, Tuesday, 2026, and present right now with us from the planning department is LaDana Hance. LaDana Hance, would you like to start us off?
Sure. So I've been here for quite a while, so I just want to give you guys an update. Mainly just on the big projects that we're working on. You know, we always do different stuff day to day, but the big things we have going on are you guys have next week a resolution for the Consolidated Land Use Board. In 2023, the legislature adopted this new law that would allow us to combine our land use boards together. So right now we have a board of adjustment. Sometimes we have a zoning commission if we're working on our zoning, and then we have our planning board. We can never field enough members to barely keep the planning board alive sometimes. So what I've decided to do, just to make sure we always have our board in place, is to consolidate them together. It's just better use of our volunteers that we have out there, and then we know we have a board when we need it. Like right now, we have a conditional use request. I can't process it because I have no board of adjustment. And we've only done like 2 conditional use requests in 10 years. So it's not like we need a board full time.
Okay.
So that's why the kind of the push to get this done right now is we have something, we need to get it processed. I don't want to put another board of adjustment in place. I just want to combine them and be done with it.
Great idea.
So you guys will be seeing that next week. And that'll put our subdivision zoning and the creation of land use regulations all under the planning board. And the planning
to go through the process to make or different, but you gotta make.
we've
bylaws.
already done that. So
Okay.
what'll happen is you guys will adopt it hopefully next week, and then it'll go to the planning board actually the next night because it was just set up that way.
Okay, good.
So the bylaws have been updated. Steve's reviewed them. It just needs to go to the planning board for their take on it, and then it comes back to you to do the final sign off on the bylaws, and then it's done. So
Good.
probably that following week, the 17th, it'll be back here for the bylaws,
Perfect.
and then the whole thing will be updated.
Can you get us the bylaws as soon as you got a good copy of them so I can review them?
Yeah, and really, nothing has changed from the planning board other than just to add in these other boards and their duties. So that's
Just-
really all that's changing.
Okay, just kind of
Yeah.
combines them. Within the bylaws, it says that we're part of this. group
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah, it goes through and says this is our duties when we're doing this, and this is
Okay.
our duties when we're doing this, so they know. And that's part of the law, is that you have to outline that stuff. So we did that, and Steve was fine with it. There was a couple things he wanted me to tweak in there, and I just need to do that, and then they'll be good to go. So I can get you a draft after that.
Okay.
Because I don't think the planning board will change anything in it, so. Then the floodplain stuff, we did get we went through our appeals process. All the appeals went into FEMA, they commented on them. So far, the only things that they said they were going to change were the things that the county submitted. So I submitted corrections like to road names and things that were wrong on the maps. And they said they would look at all those ones and fix them. We're still waiting on the maps to come back from that process. So they'll adopt the maps like after they get through there. They'll have like their final version of maps.
We had a big packet on some of that stuff.
Yeah,
through the
that's
floodplain.
what you guys got in the mail. I got the same thing, and most of it was just they looked at the appeals. They said they weren't appeals, they were all comments, which I assumed that's what would happen because they didn't submit their data with it. Mr. Meese has come back with additional information. I don't know if FEMA is going to accept that now at this point or not. So just so you guys are aware, like this whole appeal thing is not just holding up the county's mapping process. This is holding up the city and town too, because we're all going through the process together. So FEMA won't adopt any of the maps because they're all kind of joined together until those appeals get resolved. So hopefully we can finish that up so we can all get our maps adopted. And the regulations, I have a draft of the regulations that I sent to DNRC and FEMA for review. I think FEMA may be fine with the draft. I'm just waiting on DNRC to make sure they're fine with it. Once we have their okays, then we can take those through review and get the floodplain regulations adopted, the new ones. So the ones we're running on are from like the 80s right now, so they're really very old and need updated. So hopefully that can happen soon. And so then that'll take care of the floodplain stuff. The other floodplain thing that I don't have on here is DNRC has been having floodplain trainings like every week. And that'll go on until the beginning of June. So that's why you're seeing me on Fridays, is I have floodplain
okay.
training on Fridays that I'm trying to go to. It's just like some of this stuff is so much and I haven't done it in so many years that I just need to get up to speed on it again. So I'm trying to take advantage of the free training that DNRC is providing to us. The subdivision regulations. So this is a project that we started under a grant from Department of Commerce. We started that with our growth policy. We've wrapped up the growth policy. You guys adopted that. And then the subdivision regulations is the last piece. We have a draft that went out for review like last summer, fall. There were pieces in there that still needed to be updated. Again, the road stuff, the fire stuff. So those are the pieces that I still need to work on and then just get a final draft pulled together that we can take through the public review process. And I just haven't had time to work on that with the floodplain stuff and other stuff going on. We need to adopt those by fall of 2026 because of our grant. So to get our funding back, we need to get that adopted. So that's definitely on a timeline that we need to stay on to get it done. The capital improvements plan. Now that's a state funded project. I talked with you guys about that. They're providing the funds for the whole project. They pay the consultant. They do like a majority of the work, but we're still waiting on the state to sign the contract to get started. So that was like before Christmas that we started all of that. And I just checked in last week on it and they still are waiting on the contract. So I think they switched, like some of their contractors, their contracts were due for renewal. So they might have had to renew all those before they could start actually issuing
Now that's with
contracts.
DNRC.
No, this is with Department of Commerce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'll let you guys know when that's gonna start. I just don't know when it is because I don't have a contract yet. The same thing with the growth policy in the city of Boulder. They're using the same funding source, so they're still waiting on their contract. Now, this isn't necessarily a county project, however, their contractor they selected to do their project wants the planning board to be involved with this, and this is the city planning board, and I am the chair of the city planning board, so I have to be involved with the process. And the county does have a representative on the city's planning board, so that's why that is on our list as a project, and it will be a big project because they want meetings every week to make sure everything's on schedule, and so it's pretty intense.
Okay.
So, and that one will take about a year to complete. The same with the capital improvements plan. So once we get a contract, project it out about a year to get done. Then the other thing is the RMDs. I have started pulling the information together that we need to do, to pull together so I can start the maps and get the data and stuff all together. So we can get to the point where Steve can do the resolutions and we could start it through the process. And that always takes a lot of time. And I haven't got to spend very much time on that yet. I don't know what districts need to be our priorities. Part of our problem is like we did Moonlight, but we did, oh yeah, we're gonna have to do that one too. Like Moonlight Ridge and Meadowlark we did last year, but we have to finalize the map. So then that'll have to come back in as another piece. So we'll end up reviewing those again this year. Until I can find a better system to get with Steve to figure out how to review these things. It's kind of a multi-step process that takes a lot more time than it needs to take. So
Well, Meadowlark definitely needs
Meadowlark needs this map updated for sure, but they need to figure out what they need to do with their amounts
Right,
too.
and they're working on.
Moonlight Ridge needs its map updated because we did add lots to that one, and I think all the other ones are good. That we did last year. I don't know if we did any more map changes. The Big Sky Acres, I had a call last week about them, and she was saying they needed an update, so I need to talk to Ginger about that. I'm like, I don't know why you guys need an update. I thought we just dealt with you guys. So I just need to touch base with Ginger about that one and see where we're at. And then there's a few others that have never went through the review process, like Destiny Hills, which is way outdated, that needs a review. I want to try to do that one this year because they've been asking us for several years to get that one done. And then there's probably a couple other old ones that we still need to do that we do the cost share on. Martinez is one of them, but I don't know if we want to tackle that one. We need to, but I don't know if we want to tackle it this year or not.
Yeah, I don't know. Those shared agreement ones are always a tough one, so.
They are. Yeah, they are. And then it's always we never get the resolutions and stuff till the very end. And then we just barely have enough time to get through the process. So we don't even have time to like have an extra meeting with them if we needed to do that.
Right.
It just doesn't work out.
Yeah, we need to figure out a step-by-step process for those, cause just like Meadowlark, they're like, they got the notification that we were looking at it, but by that point, they didn't have a chance to even comment on it and get the information
Right.
they wanted into it. We were already past that, so. we gotta
Right.
Figure out how to let these people know we're looking at it so they can comment on what we're gonna put in it and then move forward with it, cause yeah. Or else we're gonna be doing it again the next year when they see what we did and they're not happy with it,
Right.
so. Yeah.
But some of these, we just need to get them updated because
Right.
they've never been updated. So they
Yeah.
might not be happy with it, like Meadowlark
Right.
wasn't, but we needed to get the update
Yeah.
done.
We need to get the other
Yeah.
lots in there and just get it updated.
Get it updated and then we can go from that point
Yep.
forward. So it's these multiple steps that keep taking up the most time. There's gotta be a better way to deal with these, really.
We could maybe reach out to another county that does these and see if they.
A lot of them, they don't do them themselves. They have a consultant.
Do they?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
like Morrison Merrily does Bozeman's or Gallatin counties. They don't even do their own.
Okay,
So that's how they deal
is
with
that
it.
something we can look at doing for our own sake? Cause
Or
we could
do
charge.
some of them and have somebody else.
Part of I don't think it's us that's a holdup. It's Steve getting the resolutions done. That's our holdup.
Yeah,
And once we get that, then we start through the process fairly quickly because I have everything compiled by that point.
right.
It's just
getting the resolution together.
getting the resolutions out for all of them.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah, so if we could do like simpler resolutions or something. Or write it in the resolution, like these ones that have to have the map update that will update the map after the process.
Mhm.
And just have the draft map there and then the next map that's gonna become the official map with it too. I don't know why we couldn't do something like that. I think it's just refining our processes on all these things.
We get a little better at it every year, just a little bit better every year.
We do.
We got some done this last year, so that
We
was,
did.
that was better.
Yeah, the last couple years, we've got several done. It's just, we can't get through all of them. I think we've got 20 districts now.
Something like that.
So you wouldn't think it would take us that long to get through them, but they all have little issues with them that haven't been resolved since they've been created. And that's what we're trying to do is fix the issues and then go from that point forward. So, and we have to have all of those done by September, whatever we're going to do for the RMDs. So I say September 1, but it's like that first Monday in September, whatever that is.
I think I told Meadowlark, May is when we needed to have their
Yeah,
requested numbers or whatever they wanna do
exactly.
for their fee or whatever, or their maintenance, whatever they wanna
Yeah.
spend on their maintenance, so.
Yeah, no, if they can get us that stuff, because that's when we really need that stuff is when Steve is working on the resolution. I don't really need it to do my stuff
Right,
unless we need Great West to go out there and take a look at something.
and they're getting with Great West to help them through the process, so.
Okay,
Great West is involved this time,
right.
and I think they told me that they had The other.
Staley did it before.
Staley do it, but there was a reason why they did it. It was like, I think Mark said they said, we need Great West, but somebody said, no, we're using Staley, and it's like, okay, pay for it twice if you want it.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't matter to us. They're gonna pay for it twice.
Yeah.
And it
So
comes out
Great
of their
West is
account.
involved this time, so
Okay.
whatever they come up with this time. Trying to think what his name in Great West there, the road guy,
Carl,
Carl, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're in touch with Carl, so we should be good this time.
okay. And I've talked with, the North Tiffin folks. They need road work up there. It sounds like they have enough money in their RMD right now to pay for the project. So I think that one might just be, Great West doing the plans and putting it out for bidding. I don't think we need to do bonding on that one.
Which RMD is that?
The North Tiffin,
Oh, the North Tivet, okay.
yeah. Yeah, they need some, their roads are getting pretty bad in there, just from all the heavy truck traffic and,
The Tivet gave that RMD quite a bit of money, so.
they had money in there already
In
too,
good
like
shape.
they've never really spent any of their money, so.
Good.
Yeah, I think they have over 200,000 in there. I talked to Carl last week and he was gonna go out there and take a look at it. And then work on, getting a contract in place with the county to do the work, so. That one will
What's
be
the name of that RMD? Has it got a name?
The North Tiffin,
That's the actual name of the RMD, okay.
yeah. Yeah,
Now that there's no Tivet there, that's gonna be a little confusing.
no,
We know
it
what
just is
but-
what it is. I mean, they all just go by some weird random name we given them, so. So I think that's about it. The only other thing is, my vacation time is, I have like 120 some hours I was supposed to use at the beginning of the year, and I've been trying to use it, but I can't. With all this other stuff going on, I just can't, be gone. And get it used up by the end of March, so. I would ask for an extension on that,
Well,
hopefully
you-
to the end of the year, because that's when my quiet time is.
You can hopefully use it up by the end of the year.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I think I used about 3 weeks worth, toward the end of last year. Just to try to use up the extra stuff that I had, and I did use up all my extra from last year, I couldn't even get into this year, so.
Okay, we'll talk to Kelly about that. I've typically, especially in her case, because if
Right.
if
Yeah,
he's
we
gotta
can-
take her
We can do it. It's just we can't do it
continuously,
continuously.
you know.
Yeah, this would be an exception, right, in this case?
So if you use it all this year, if we give you the extension and you use it all this year,
Yeah,
and then we get into next year and you have more. And you can't use it by March, we can do another extension on that new time. That's
right,
my understanding, but not,
right.
Not
we can't extend this time again.
No, I've used up all my
That's-
old
that's
stuff from
the
last
way
year,
it
so
works.
that's not an issue. It's just using the new stuff that I had from this year.
It's a catch 22 because you get good employees that work and,
Yep,
and they've been here and they're longtime employees and it happens.
Yeah,
you gotta punish them by taking their vacation
Right.
away, or use it or lose it.
yeah, and frankly, to be honest with you, if I'm gonna start losing my leave, I'm not gonna be here. I
Right.
mean, that's,
Oh, yeah, that's understandable.
I'm just not gonna go there,
So
so.
you're committed enough to work when you should be taking vacation. We shouldn't have to punish you for that.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get, we've gotta get through these projects and like some of this stuff, the floodplain stuff and all of that, like, we're at the mercy of FEMA, we're not.
That capital improvements can't wait, huh? I was just thinking you're starting
We-
another
it's a-
project,
But it's free,
right?
and we're in the cycle to get it done,
Okay,
so. And the state is doing most of the work on
that
that.
one won't be as heavy on you.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I think once we get like the consolidated land use board, once we get that adopted, that'll be up and running. We don't have a whole lot to do with that. The floodplain stuff, once we get those maps adopted and the regulations adopted, it's just permitting if we have permits or questions, those
Just
kind of
maintenance
things.
type stuff.
Yeah, the subregs, we just need to get those adopted. And then the RMDs are just an ongoing thing.
Ongoing.
Yeah. So I think most of these projects will drop off. It's just getting to that point where they drop off. We just had a lot come at us at once, and then Megan leaving with the floodplain stuff just dropped it on me to try to figure out what was going on. She hadn't reviewed the maps before, so I had to spend extra time doing that. She hadn't worked on the regulations. I had to create the regulations and do all that. So those were just extra things we never anticipated.
No, we
And now we're
appreciate
trying to scramble and catch up on all this other stuff and still keep the projects that we have funded going. So,
Yeah, no, that's great. We appreciate you taking that up. That's
yeah.
very good. So, yeah, well, do you want to just send a formal request via email to
Okay.
extend that, and we'll
Okay,
make
I
sure
can do that.
Kelly and Ginger know that we'll do that.
Okay. Do you guys have any other questions or?
No, we appreciate what you do, believe me. You still
We're,
got
we're,
your salary.
we're trying something.
How's Lindsay doing?
She's good.
She's taking some of the weight off of you?
Yeah, I mean, she does a lot of the subdivision and zoning things. Like when I was gone, I just forwarded all the voicemails to her and said, or even when I was on vacation, I mean, she handled what she could and then she left what she couldn't and
Good.
we dealt with it. So yeah, I think it's working really well. It's just some of these other bigger projects, she just doesn't have the experience to, she can help review some of them, but to put them together and stuff, she just
Right.
doesn't have that experience, so.
Well, that's good. If she can take some of the little stuff off you, that's what
Yeah.
position's for, so.
Yeah, it really helps with the subdivision and zoning questions and things, so. And subdivisions have just died down to pretty much nothing right
There's
now.
nowhere to subdivide.
Yeah.
Well,
Water.
it's not that, it's the water, really. Like-
Yeah, they got that extra expense to get the, what is it, the water? What do they call that, where they see they get an
Oh, the
engineer to say-
appropriation or whatever, the water
The
rights
engineer's
stuff.
gotta see if there's water available, they gotta do a.
Yeah, the groundwater
There
study,
you go.
yeah,
Study.
yeah. And all that's just raising the cost of doing a project. But,
Yep, that's exactly it.
and our subdivision regulations aren't gonna help that, but we don't really have an option.
Right.
So we're just trying to catch up because we're so far behind in our regulations and what they should be.
Well, when you get an extra few minutes, which is gonna be tough for you, but, Sawmill Road up there.
I
like-
did start looking at
Did you look at that?
Sawmill
Okay.
too.
So I know they're gonna be.
I did a kind of a preliminary pull together on the map. I think there's about 73 lots on there.
Oh, is there that many up there?
Yeah, but there's about 2 miles of roads. So,
2 miles of roads and
Yeah.
70 lots.
yeah,
How many structures?
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't
We,
matter. It's all the
we
same.
assess by lot, yeah. Like, that's what we've been doing with pretty much most of our districts, and that works best. Otherwise, when they start building on there, then you gotta get them added, and it's just a pain. It's just easier if we just say it's flat, we're assessing per lot. It doesn't matter if you got something on there, you're paying it anyway.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if you use 2 inches of road, you're paying the same amount as everybody else.
Right, if you gotta use it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I think there's about 70 some in there, and I just need to go back and actually focus on it. I did it really quick because I wanted to see what those numbers were like.
Okay. So is there a way to draw a line around it and get a mailing list of some sort, or, okay,
Yeah, no, I can select that out of my map. And I just did it on paper just to try to get the numbers, so then I can take that and go to the map on the computer and then select whatever lots I want to
Okay.
include in the mailing list. And there might be a few more lots that have to access off Sawmill Road. It's just they're back in there a little further. So I just have to look at it to make sure there's no access for them from somewhere else, and then we can add them
Okay.
too. So, yeah, I just need to refine those numbers a little bit.
I'm sure what's his name is gonna be.
Ryan,
Yeah, Ryan's gonna be coming with
And
us with numbers, hopefully, eventually.
Craig and I have both talked to Carl Green. He's up there, and he said he's willing to go out and talk to people about it.
Okay,
Yeah, he sounded
So-
pretty set to start the process.
do the footwork on it.
Do the
anyway.
footwork, yeah, but I don't think, like, he's not looking for, like, he wants a road that they can use,
Mhm.
and he's like on a fixed income,
He
so
doesn't wanna pave the road.
he doesn't wanna pave superhighway up there. Can't afford it, like most people, especially 2 miles of paving.
But once we get Ryan's numbers and we try to verify them somewhat with our engineer, we'll hopefully get you to give us a mailing list with
Mhm.
those, and we'll try to get a public meeting together. Just to
Okay,
get everybody in the same
Yeah.
room and say, here's what's going on, here's your options, 1, 2, 3, you want it graded, you want it chip sealed, you want it paved,
Mhm.
it's gonna cost you this much a year, this much a year, this much, whatever it is, so. I think that'll help.
So should I just check in with Ryan to see if he said he had numbers, we haven't gotten anything from him.
You might just check in with him, tell him we're working on getting, whatever.
A mailing list put together so we can set up a meeting.
Yep,
I think Carl's gonna talk to him or something,
Okay,
but I'm not positive of that.
yeah, and I haven't heard, I talked to Carl yesterday about something else, but he didn't mention it, so I don't know that he's talked to Ryan yet.
yeah, so that's good. I haven't heard
Yeah.
anything from the metal art folks, I guess the road
Okay.
must be holding together up there so far. That'll be that, once we get slowed down enough to look at that one, see if we can at least talk to those folks and see what. they would think to-
I've heard back from, everybody to the east side, the 3 subdivisions, and they may have like a couple people that didn't respond, but for the most part, most of them said no, they don't wanna.
Don't want any kind of an RMD up there.
No, I think they're still working on their, like, creating their RMD up on their side, but as far as like increasing the amounts over on Metal Arc, they're not
Oh, I'm talking
interested.
about metal, okay.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the whole Corbin Road bunch, the
Oh,
whole thing. there.
creating an RMD for Corbin Road, oh gosh,
You know,
that would be a huge one.
but if we don't get a mine up there and the road's gonna fall apart again, I don't know, we
Right.
can't afford to
We
keep
can't afford to
paving that
fix
thing
it,
every.
right?
It's gonna be like South Hills, I think there's plenty of residents up there to do it, it just. Do they want to, and will they,
Yeah,
And you'll have, what's her face on your planning board now, so,
Debbie?
Debbie.
no, she's on Parks, Trails and Rec,
Oh, that's right, no,
Yeah.
she's not on
Yeah.
planning, okay.
yeah,
Well, you'll
So-
at least have a relationship with her, so she's good about kind of knowing what's going on up in that area, so,
and they have her subdivision has its own RMD.
yeah.
Do we need to look at putting together maybe a list for that Corbin Road area too at some point?
Eventually, I mean, we're okay now with, cause we just chip
Yeah.
seal it last year, so hopefully that'll last 4 or 5 years. Or at least till I'm not a commissioner anymore.
Yeah.
And me.
Yeah, exactly.
Cause that was, I mean, I don't like how it turned out, I don't like the whole, the thing, how we did it, but at the same time, it gave them a good eye-opening experience of what it might be if we can't find some funds to keep it the way they want it, essentially,
Right.
you know.
And how much did it cost for us to do that road? Do you guys remember?
200,000 or something?
250, maybe a
How-
little less.
How many miles?
It was
Was it
quite a
two?
few.
It's not that far, we only did the mine entrance, maybe 2.5.
Did you guys have to rebuild the road first to be able to put the chip seal on top, or you just
No.
put it on top?
Well,
Well,
if
we
you,
did some,
if you figure what we did it to.
Oh, yeah, you ground it
We
up
ground it up
first.
with the pods in there,
Yeah.
which fell apart, but that process actually would have had to happen anyway. To get the millings
Mhm.
either ground up or off there, so there was some prep work that,
it won't be like sawmill where it's gonna take a lot to do it.
Okay,
If we take care of it and re-chip seal it, that's what it's gonna be,
right.
so,
Sawmill needs a rebuild.
Yeah,
It needs to be built. It's never been built.
yeah, there's no base to it whatsoever.
Okay,
I drove up there last week too,
okay.
but
So there, and Greg, Carl was asking me about it, and I'm just like, well, I mean, maybe 500,000 for a chip seal compared to millions for,
$1 million a mile
Paving.
for
a
pavement,
million miles.
pavement's expensive.
yeah. They're not gonna wanna spend $1 million a mile on paving,
I wouldn't think so.
not the majority of the people up there. And they're the ones that have to, and I stressed it to Carl, that you guys have to do the legwork to get the signatures and stuff. The county's not doing that
Right.
work for you.
Yeah.
That's not our role.
Not
So
our
he
road.
knows that, yeah. Well, that's the other thing, is it's not our road, so we've gotta figure that deal out too.
It still concerns me, but I think that process needs to be done with turning it into a county road. With an RMD. And the RID to get it up to standards.
It's the only way to do it. It's the only way to
I
do
just-
an RMD is make it a county road.
Or a public road,
Right,
but I think that's a bigger, harder process.
that is, to get everybody to grant the easements,
Right.
that'd be pretty tough. The county road is probably the better approach.
I think it's the better
It's
approach.
easier.
It's just,
Route,
I think that needs to come out in the public meeting that this can be a county road, but without an RMD, you're not getting anything that you don't already have.
right,
So,
And you're not happy
That's
with it
a-
even when the county's maintaining it.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's a decision that needs to factor into their decision.
Mhm. Okay,
Good. Thank you, Ladana. Appreciate your hard work.
we're trying,
You're doing a good job.
there's a lot
In there.
going on.
Always.
I know.
Can you hold tight for a minute?
Oh.
Yeah, we're done. We're adjourned. Thank you. I just want